Hello and welcome to another episode of Kerbal Space Program. I know this episode is going to be a little bit late because I'm recording it on the morning that it's supposed to be released. So, between the amount of time it'll take to record and then edit and then upload, I am pretty certain it is not going to get up at the normal time. But as you are seeing this, hopefully it is not too horrifically later in the day. So I think the plan is to do this rescue mission. I don't know what I'll turn this Kerbal into. It'll give us some money. We need, what, like $1 million or something to upgrade the science facility. Someone was like, well, you know, the bailout grant, but again, I mean, even if we did 100%, that would only give us like 160,000. I mean, granted, that's not terrible, but we can only do up to 20. I mean, I guess we could upgrade to do more, but at our current level, we can only do 44,000, which, given the amount of money we need, doesn't seem like it's worth it. So, I mean, maybe we could do like a not that one. Where's this one? I mean, it takes 7 reputation. Well, if we do 25%, it takes 21 reputation to set up. But it takes 25% of reputation gains and yields basically $1,000 per reputation. I mean, again, that doesn't seem great. But because like this one we're getting, so we would get 20 reputation. And so 5 of that, we would get like $5,000 extra basically from this mission at the cost of like 5 reputation, because we're taking a quarter of the reputation that we'd be earning. But so this wouldn't even pay back the cost of the reputation to do that, to do it in the first place. Like, obviously that's a long-term thing, which maybe eventually, like when we unlock the tech tree, you know, there's no reason to just not turn science into money, for example. But we're gonna do this, I think. I'm still waiting on the surface science. Now, I looked at it. It is collecting science. It hasn't transmitted any science. I don't know. It does have a connection. That's one thing I was worried about. I was suddenly like, wait, does it have a connection? It does. The base command thing has a good enough antenna to reach Earth or reach Kerbal from the moon. It can't do it from Minmus, but it can do it from the moon. So we at least have that. I was looking on the forums, you know, being like, you know, for people asking about it being transmitted, and one thing I saw said it might only transmit at 10% intervals. So if that's the case, we're only at like just shy of 3%. So it may be a while. Like if we get to say day 250, year 250 up here, and we still haven't gotten anything, I may start worrying. But otherwise, the other thing I wanted to do is I only wanted to set this one mission up for now. I'm assuming this is the guy, yeah. Is he a pilot? I'm not sure. I don't want to go to him because that will start the not that it really matters, but it would start the life support stuff. Actually, that could matter if he doesn't have power. I don't know if this says what type of Kerbal he is. Apparently it's a her. Doesn't say. So this will give us... I mean, the amount of money for the completion of saving her is probably going to pay for the craft. So we should get about 100,000-ish out of this. So I just want to see where... I'm pretty sure she's on a normal... Basically a normal orbit. Yeah. Between 73 and 84. So there's nothing outrageous about this orbit. So, there are a couple ways we could think about doing this. We could send up a 2-man pod. I want to say we already have. Like, what's this? A Gimmo? A Gimmo. Okay, that looks like a satellite. We have Emotion 9, 10, 11. Oh, maybe Olaroon's the normal. I thought Olaroon was the lunar one, but I guess not. Olaroon 10. Yeah. We might as well just... It's 22,000. It's a little bit more than I thought. But there's probably no reason why we can't just use this, right? I mean, I could look at the other ones and see, but... Olaroon 9 looks basically the same. Just looking at the prices, Olaroon 7. So Olaroon 8. Olaroon 7's, yeah, so it's only a 1-man. We want a 2-man. So... Someday, when I'm not recording, I need to go in there and clean out some of those. We don't want 2 pilots. It doesn't really matter who we send up, I guess. We want solar panels on this? Maybe. Like, better solar panels, I mean. Do we have any Earth? Actually, because we have RCS thrusters on here, but I don't know if we actually have like RCS, like actual mono propellant. It doesn't look like this comes with it. I mean, we don't really need it for this rendezvous, because we're not going to be, like, docking. We're just getting really close. So... Alright. So we're researching some tech here. And more tech. Deployed science report. So it did something. Okay, 10%. Okay, good, it's working. It's working! So it does deploy at 10% increments. So when we get to 50% there, we'll get that 300,000, which is nice. All right. There's kind of no reason not to just go ahead and launch this. Oh, you know what? Well, okay, I'll wait until I get back. I meant to check the contracts to see if we got any more moon-related contracts. All right, well, let's check staging just to make sure. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. These probably should be separate. All right. All right, Roger. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. By the way, for any people who aren't up with, don't exactly understand the how to get into orbit thing, yesterday, the Kerbal Space Program YouTube released their tutorial for KSP2 about getting into orbit, and it's actually a really good primer just generally for why we do what we do to get into orbit. Basically wait until our APO is between 70 and 80 here. Might as well go ahead and set this as a target. That's a bit too far. All right. Then we can adjust our orbit to rendezvous. They're not in a great place to rendezvous right now, actually. I should have paid more attention to that. But we're going to have to either chase them or have them chase us for a while. Again, we'll do the thing where we burn to just before we exit. Just before we get an actual orbit or until we run out of fuel, I guess. Woo! All right. Yeah, they're like on the other side of Kerbal, so you might be waiting a little while here. What we might try to do is match their lower, but increase our upper. So what we would be trying to do is getting this down to like 73-ish, I think. Or we could always... Where are we? Is this us? Yeah, that's us. Trying to see if we are... That looks pretty good. I'm actually going to turn down our thrust limiter to like 10%. I'm just doing this to try to... It's going to be an attempt to try to make it to where we... One of us catches up to the other one faster. Because we're on the opposite sides of the planet, which is not ideal. That looks pretty decent. Now what I think I'm going to do here Let's extend our orbit out quite a bit, actually. Maybe to like 175 or something. Like, we have plenty of delta V here, so... Might turn the thrust limiter up a little bit because it is wanting us to burn a little bit more. Now, our periapsis is back low again a little bit. It's still above the atmosphere, so that's fine. So now we'll go around and see. We're at 1164 now. $889. So we're gaining about 300 per orbit-ish. So probably next time it updates, I'll want to try to reduce our APO again. That's not ideal. I don't know if doing it out here helps. No, that's just... We're just getting rid of it completely there. Like, I feel like... Like, actually, we actually kind of need to push up here a bit. It looks like. Like, ever so slightly. I'm just afraid if we go around again, then we're going to be... Huh. Let's do this. That way we have a little bit more control. Because I don't want to go from like 100 behind to 200 ahead if I can help it. Why is this taking 50 meters per second? Alright, I mean, it doesn't matter. We have the Delta V, so... I'll bring us down to 100. Now we'll see what we're like. So we're making up 60 per orbit. That's not too bad. We would probably want to do it on this side because we're heading into the light side here. So, roughly 6 more orbits. Why are we slowing down? Is that the, the launch pad getting refurbished or whatever? So we should be down to about 240-ish. So again, after we hit it next, maybe actually probably 2 more times, right? This will take us down to below 60. And then the next time we'll see what our intersection is. And we can adjust our orbit appropriately. Okay, 11.9 kilometers. We can try this at different spots just to see. Okay, so that's not good. Whoop. So that's not a good spot because we're probably doing it here is best because... 5.8. 4.5. 3.5. 2.0. 1.7. Oops. It's like 1.3 is about the best we're going to be able to get there. That's fine. It's on the light side. Actually, I wonder if adjusting this would help at all. Yeah, it does, actually. Point 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.3. I'll take 0.3. Doesn't look like any of our orbit is dipping into... That's good. We'll have to see how close our encounter is after the actual burn here, but hopefully it won't be too much different. Where we're supposed to burn apparently has changed. .4, and we're still above the atmosphere everywhere. All right, so this is in 10 minutes. I'm still not sure what thing we need to upgrade for us to actually see, like, the target indicator here. Next encounter is 0.1 in about 4 minutes. He lost it for some reason. Basically, now. Oh, there it is. I see it. I'm going to turn our thrust limiter down so we don't accidentally, like... Alright. He's an engineer, alright. Or she's an engineer. And we're on board. Now we might as well just deorbit, right? I probably should have deorbited, waited until we were back on the light side, but alas. We're going down really slow. Can't even see the other part of our ship here. Oh, I forgot to get space from Kerbal. I could have just gone out and gotten like a crew report or something even. I think we have a contract for that. It's not for much, but... Pulling around 5 Gs right now. Seven Gs. We are over water. Whew. That's maybe a little bit rough landing, but okay. Works. Think we came in maybe a bit too steep, but that's fine. And she's level 1 already. So I'll have to decide what I want to do with her. We got money from that. Nice. I mean, this is 25,000. It's basically free $25,000. We have another plant flag on the moon, which is basically free money. I might as well do that. Because I do want to send another moon mission. Do complex scan with a rover arm on moon crater. What does this mean exactly? Send a rover arm equipped craft out and perform a thorough scan to get its data. Find a moon crater and collect data with the scanning arm. We suspect you can find one of these in the East Crater. Huh. This is something we could do, I think. Number of times we've achieved sudden combustion at Winter Owl Aircraft Emporium has led us to consider something. We may have underestimated just how volatile solid rocket fuel really is, and have now found ourselves with a problem we can't solve on our own. We believe that you are okay. It'd be much easier to track asteroids and Kerbin's blind spots from afar with a Sentinel infrared telescope deployed in solar orbit near Eve. Really? So how, I guess the big question is, how big is this thing? Because if it's tiny, then fine. But if it's not, that's more of a problem. I mean, the advance should be more than enough to build the ship. So what do we need on this? A Sentinel infrared telescope. Hopefully that's under science. It's not small. And remember, this needs to go into solar orbit around Eve. If I'm going to do that. So I guess we would probably use this as the probe core, right? Is it only going to let me attach it to the top? No. Okay, here we go. I wonder what it would take. We don't need an intercept with Eve to do this. I'm just thinking if we could use Eve to slow us down. Because I actually don't know how much delta V this is gonna take. Probably the delta V map. Do I not have this bookmarked yet? I probably should. I keep having to look at it for it on Google. Okay. So it would take 4,400. Now it's set. That seems not much. It says only 90 delta V to get a flyby, and another 80 to get a circularized orbit. But I'm not sure if that's over-Earth effect stuff. That might be helping that along. It's about 1,000-ish delta V to get into solar orbit. Like, if I put, like, 6,000 delta V on this thing, I would hope that's enough. Like, space delta V. Well, I mean, even regular delta V. Like, a couple thousand space delta V. We would obviously want things like batteries and solar panels and stuff on this. And obviously a transmitter. We only really need, yeah, direct. So, okay, so, I did see a thing. Is this it? Yes. So a 2G. We have a level 3 tracking station, right? I think. Even with a level 2 tracking station, a 2G is what we would need. Well, it says Moho, Eve, and Duna when close. Oh, Duna when close. So, yeah, 2G. We need a 2G transmitter. So, like, this is a 40K, 150K, 125K, 300, 300, 500, 500. 500. Unless I'm misreading this. No, I'm not. Do we just not have a good enough antenna? I'm just looking to see. We might not actually. Based on Eve most of the time. So yeah, we might not actually even have good enough antennas to do this yet. I mean, this has like 500 million miles. But I'm just looking at the Deep Space Network stuff on the wiki. And I'm not sure. For Eve orbit, it's definitely saying we need like a 5G, and all we have is a 5M. So doing that contract may not be a thing. Which is sad because that's a fairly good. So like, so precision engineering is where, if I can find it. Here. Now, I think it said 2G. Oh, it's 2G we need, not 5G. Okay. But actually we can get it. So we might as well. Both of these would work. So yeah, let's go ahead and get that, and then that way we should be able to do this other contract. This one. It's gonna take us a while. But, it's money, I guess. So we have 5 active contracts right now. So that's going to be a contract that we're going to have just active for a while, at least until we upgrade. So where are we supposed to be plopping this? It doesn't say. That's useful. Just said around Eve, but it's not giving me like a... Around orbit, well... Okay, here's the other question. Did I misread this? No, solar orbit near Eve. So it's not orbit of Eve. It is solar orbit near Eve. But it doesn't show me what it is. So I'm not sure. I guess I'm just gonna have to track the apoapsis and periapsis using engineer or something, because I think it gives us. They're pretty close, but anything else here? I mean, that's pretty good. 100,000? More than that, really? The problem with this... Right. We would need an engineer. And we would obviously need to land... we would obviously need to land at the rover, which would be a problem, potentially, because I'm not the best at precision landing. But it's a shit ton of money. This is a lot of money. Ferry tourists. We would basically need to land a 3-man pod on the moon with this. Any passengers that are rendered unconscious due to G-forces will fail to pay for their itineraries. That's kind of funny. I mean, that's a lot of money, but I would rather do something like that on Minmus, I think. Because it's just easier to land on Minmus. Of course, that's the problem, is that we want to get parts. I mean, we can get to Minmus now. That's not the problem. I'm just trying to make it to where our spacecraft aren't quite as wonky in getting there, I guess. We could do, what was it, this one? That gives us 140,000 minus, I guess, the 23,000 it takes to build the craft. Plus, actually, 10,000 for say. So, actually, it's more like 150,000 minus the 23. So, basically, 125-ish thousand. Now, this is a 2-star one, which makes me wonder what type of orbit we're looking at. But I'll select this one. I don't know why it's not showing me the orbit that we need for that other contract. Oh, this doesn't look bad. 73. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing. Oh, that's theirs. Right. I'm just going to... Oh. Okay, yeah, that's a bit bigger. That's not quite out to the moon. But that does mean we're going to have to be a bit more careful on how we try to intercept this. Because here's the problem. The problem with this one... I'll go ahead and delete this one just because it's not my fault that that was there. Here's the catch with this one is that life support could potentially start becoming a problem if we have to catch up a lot. So probably what I would do is get into a normal orbit and then try to find some place to burn to get an intercept. And then we would just fix the orbit as part of that intercept. I think we would basically have to do it that way. I think the amount of fuel we have in our ship should be enough to do that. They're on a bit of a weird inclination, it looks like, too. Not that that's a huge issue, but... Alright, so I think we have two ships we want to build here. We want to build another rescue ship. So that would be like, what, the Olaroon 12 or whatever? So I guess, Keika, you can go on this one, maybe? You've landed on the moon. And then we would want to start building the Emoja 12, I guess? Hopefully we get more moon contracts. So we would be sending... Kara would be the one orbiting this time, I guess. Oh, wait. She's the scientist. We'd be sending Roger. And then we'd be sending Orc to land. That's right. Now, is there any, like, surface stuff that we'd want to put in there? I don't know. Because we might as well take out... these things if we aren't gonna place them. They seem to be working, so... I mean, that's just that much less weight that we would need to take. It actually makes me wonder how much fuel are in these. $10 and $12. That's basically enough for one of these. So, like, if we replace those with that. And replace those with that. That means these suddenly only need to be 4 instead of 8. Right? We want the monopropellant. I mean, do we even need this? Yeah, we might want the science. We probably do want the science stuff. Because if we're landing at a new place, I mean, getting science is kind of part of the point here. We could replace... I mean, if we could find a new way to do the batteries and stuff, the battery and monopropellant, we actually don't even necessarily need this monopropellant. I mean, it gives us a lot more. But we're generally only using that to dock, right? I'm just thinking... if we could just completely remove... these, it would be ideal. That means doing something else for the batteries. Is that what's blocking them? In theory, still yes. That's basically as far up as we can go. That's getting blocked. I don't know if there's any... I'm not a huge fan of putting them here. Could we maybe put them, like, here? That's really low. It would make... I'm not the hugest fan. I mean, if they're here, it's not like the end of the world. Like, so we have to fly up with these bays open. I'm just wondering... I don't think there's anything we can do about it there. Like, if we put the batteries here... If we just put the batteries there... I mean, that might cause problems during launch for a little bit. But how much space do we have? Not a lot. Probably not enough to justify that. I feel like that's a much better solution, though. It solves this problem, in theory. All right. So we have these two building. We also have the... Not that. That science going. So we should be able to build, hopefully, that craft next time once we have those antennas ready. And then we can launch the Olaroon next time. I'll just go ahead and fast forward this between episodes, I guess. And then we'll do the next moon landing the next time. And then we'll see kind of where we are money-wise. Because again, the problem here is... like, the Plant the Flag contract more or less pays for the moon mission, right? I mean, I guess we get a little bit of money from it. But it would be nice if we got some sort of, like, collect science from the moon contract or something. Something that's basically free for us on, you know, that we're already going to be doing. Like this, the Kerbal one? This one? I might just, like, do a crew report and then just transmit it. Because we're not going to get any science from it anyway, other than the science from the contract. And that might open up another contract for us to maybe get a science thing. But anyway, that is for next time. So, thank you for watching. And I hope to see you here next time on Kerbal Space Program.